We're eager to talk with you about anything that is important to you. It is our desire to help you get turned in the direction of what you are wanting. Sometimes you have so many habits of thought. Beliefs are just thoughts you keep thinking, aren't they? So sometimes you have these thoughts that are comfortable to think because you've been thinking them, and because law of attraction helps you to think them. In other words, whatever you're thinking about, law of attraction will bring more thoughts like it to you. So sometimes you've got these patterns of thoughts that are not serving you well. And we want to show you how to use your guidance to ferret out which of those patterns of thoughts are not serving you well. You are such a worthy being. And do you know that when you feel worthy, you feel that pride, you feel that feeling of oneness and well-being. But when you feel unworthy, do you know why it feels so awful? Because you are activating within you a vibration that's so foreign from who you really are and how you really feel about you, that when you do that, you tear yourself apart. Those are strong words, but it is literally what you do. You vibrationally do not allow yourself to be who you are. So everything that we'll be talking about here today is about your emotions. It's about relief. And most of all, it's about closing the gap. And these are the words we want you to leave here remembering. You want to find ways to more and more allow you to keep up with who you are. You must let yourself be you. And every time you feel negative emotion, you're not letting yourself be you. And you can use every excuse in the world to explain why you're not letting yourself be you. He made me feel bad. She hurt my feelings. They betrayed me. They fooled me. They stole from me. They did something bad. They don't understand me. Something bad must have happened in a past life. You get really desperate. We want you to understand that the way you feel is completely in your control. And when you figure that out and you begin to deliberately apply the direction of your thought, you are going to discover a freedom beyond your wildest imagination. When you discover the freedom that comes from focusing yourself into alignment with who you really are, now you are living life as you have intended. So you said, I'll go forth. Life will cause me to continue to want more. I'll turn in the direction of what I want. I'll get this momentum going. And it's like riding this surfboard out on the leading edge of life with the wind in your face and a feeling of exhilaration in your heart. That's the way you intended to live life. And anything less than that is not what you had intended. And anything less than that is your own doing to your own self. So we want you to care more about how you feel than about being right. Because that's the ultimate rightness, you know. The ultimate rightness is coming into alignment with Source. And when you come into alignment with Source, and law of attraction is responding to that aligned you, only well-being can be yours. But when you are justifying or rationalizing or explaining some wrongdoing, you've got yourself out there on the raw and ragged edge. You are disconnected from who you are. And even though Source energy is calling you powerfully toward who you have become, you're not going is what's tearing you apart. It's not what they did that is destructive to your experience. It's not what somebody else did that is destroying your health. It's what you're doing with your own vibrational discord, you see. When physicians and scientists begin looking for vibrational causes rather than medical cures, they'll really be onto something. Because at the heart of every dis-ease is dis-ease. At the heart of every negative emotion is contradicted energy. So we say, if you've got some negative emotion about something and you've learned to live with it, so you don't do anything about it, don't worry, it will get bigger. Law of attraction says that it must. Because the more you live with it, the more you'll throw more into your vibrational escrow. The more you throw into your vibrational escrow, the faster your stream moves. The faster your stream moves, the more you feel uncomfortable in not moving with it. And so the more you throw into your vibrational escrow, in other words, the worse it gets, the worse it gets, the worse it gets, the better it gets, the better it gets, the better it gets. Law of attraction says that it must. So when you care about how you feel, and this is the thing that we always enjoy most, when you come to a gathering like this, your sense of who you are is activated. Your stream moves faster. You come into alignment with who you are, and you become more sensitive to the way you feel. You would not think it would be a good idea The stove is so hot. It is so unpleasant to touch that hot stove. I think I will just treat my fingers to some Novocaine. So much better. The hot stove doesn't bother me at all, except for that odd odor. And yet, you numb yourself. You become accustomed to emotions that are signals that let you know that you are contradicting who you are. And so this gathering is about getting a hold of that and caring about how you feel, which means caring about closing the gap, which means caring about offering one signal, which means caring about seeing your world through the eyes of the evolved source being that is you. Just a straightforward system based upon two relationships. Where are you in relationship with where you want to be? And we want you to understand that your guidance system is so much the same in that it has two vibrational relationships. Where am I right now? By virtue of what I'm giving my attention to and by what drum I'm beating. Where am I in relationship to who I have become? And we want you to remember that the way you feel and all of your enlightenment, expansion, joyous beingness is not based upon what anybody else is doing. It's all about what you're doing in relationship with what your life has caused you to become. We would like you to replace all of those emotions that you have been feeling with the quest for one emotion. And maybe emotion isn't the best word for this, but it is the word we want you to reach for. Reach for the feeling of relief. The feeling of relief. Just the thought that feels a little better from where I am. Not big relief. Can't find big relief. Big relief is vibrationally far apart. Little relief is very easy to accomplish. So as you've been beating the drum of something, beating the drum of something, beating the drum of something, and you become aware that you don't feel so good in the beating of this drum, just try to let go of the beating of that drum and try to find a thought that feels a little better. And as you find a little relief, just the slightest little bit of relief, you'll turn and go with the flow for a little while and then do it again and then do it again and then do it again. And before you know it, you will be in those smooth waters where things are moving along. You'll feel the exhilaration of life moving for you. And all kinds of things that you've been wanting, you will begin to converge with. You'll have evidence of your motion toward those things that you want. Every time you know what you don't want, your stream goes faster as you know what you do want. In other words, you in your life are causing your stream to go faster and faster and faster and faster and faster. A mother came one day, said she had a question from her child. We are so eager to hear it. Child wants to know, why are grown-ups so grumpy? And we say, because the longer you live, you know what you don't want. The longer you know what you don't want, the more you know what you do want. The more you know what you do want, the more you throw more over into your vibrational escrow. The more you throw over into vibrational escrow, the faster your stream moves. The faster your stream moves, the more it behooves you to move in the direction of the faster moving stream. You want to go with the flow. And we want you to understand that it is so much easier to go with the flow than it is to go against the current of the flow. It just takes caring about how you feel and a willingness to reach for softer and softer, better feeling thoughts. And so we're wanting to suggest to you that that feeling of relief always comes when you begin to move toward what you want. You call things that are possible not possible. You call things that are absolutely recoverable as incurable. And the reason you do it is because you haven't figured out how to quantify your journey. So you go this way, 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 when what you want's over here. And you say, I'm so tired. Do you know how long I've been working? Do you know how many miles I've driven? Do you know how many miles I've walked? Do you know how many things I've tried? And we say, have you tried just going in the same direction for a while instead of back and forth and back and forth? You got to figure out how to quantify your journeys. You've got to figure out where what you want is downstream, and you've got to figure out how to keep moving consistently in the direction of what you want. And we're here to tell you that the way you quantify your journey is by using your guidance system, which is in your belly, which is in your gut, which says if it feels a little better, you're moving in the direction of what you want. If it feels a little worse, you've taken a detour in the opposite direction. And we so want you to understand that you can trust this guidance because we know so clearly that as your life caused you to become something more, the source energy within you stands there as the already having become of it and calls you never-endedly toward it. And when you go, you feel great, and when you don't, you don't. So, when you don't feel good, do you know what it means? It means two really important things. It means your life has caused you to become something that you are right now not letting yourself become. You are such a lover, and when you find reason to criticize someone, do you know that the reason it feels so rotten is because you're not being who you really are? Sometimes you will hold someone as your object of attention and you will say, you have betrayed me, you have done wrong, and because you have betrayed me, you are causing me to feel this bad way that I feel. But we want you to understand that nothing that anyone else does around you has the effect on your emotions that you've been giving them credit for. In fact, what is happening when you find someone to hate, or when you find someone to blame, whether it's you yourself you're blaming, guilting, or someone else, in every case, the reason that it feels so bad is not because they have betrayed you, but because you are in the process of betraying yourself. And by that we mean the source energy within you, who you really are, is a lover. And when you hold someone as your object of attention and you justifiably point out their wrongdoing and you feel hate rather than love, you are using them and that aspect of them as your excuse to widen your gap rather than close your gap. And so what we want you to come to realize is that you have the power to come into alignment with who you are, no matter what, unconditionally. And when you learn to focus in ways that allows you that alignment, you'll feel the true power of who you are. One who's connected to the source within is more powerful than millions who are not. So when you come to care about how you feel, and you begin to pick your way through life, through thoughts, through experiences, through television channels, through food buffets, through relationships, as you pick your way through, caring about how you feel as you focus, and you train yourself to keep focusing into something that feels a little better and a little better and a little better and a little better until you train yourself to see your world through the eyes of source, then you will begin to live your life as you intended when you came forth into this physical body.